Hello, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'm out doing another blog. I had a better I thought to be bugs everywhere. What I thought to be a better location, um, but the Wi-Fi signal kept failing, and literally as I was about to record, the signal was lost. So I decided to move um, and come to another area where I could get stronger signal for certain. Um, I'm doing these videos outdoors because I just want to keep the flow of things going. And please excuse me for the camera shaking. I'm using my laptop outside, and I just want better quality videos. I don't want everything to be the same thing, the same humdrum thing, and same look, and all of that. So I'm working hard, you guys, to provide you with quality content and different settings and looks and so forth. So, but the purpose of why we're here today is I don't know who started this thread called Story Time. I've been seeing like literally thousands of videos on various different things, and I figured I could use it as an excuse to blog and also as um, something worthwhile to let you in on my story, to give you highlights and portions of my life that I don't always talk about. So that's the good part about this. So my story time is about being an entrepreneur and how exactly I got that started. And I believe I used as my title for this video, um, entrepreneurship is in my DNA. And the reason I titled my video that is because over the years, I've been fascinated with learning more about my family history, my grandparents, my family lineage. I'll put it this way. I wasn't privileged to be a kid raised around my grandparents, either set of my grandparents, on my mom or dad's side. I have seen my grandparents on my mom's side, and that's about it. Just a few choice memories that I have of them as a kid, and nothing really concrete or no real lasting memories, especially for those anyone that's had the privilege of being raised by your grandparents or raised around them. You know exactly what I mean. You have a lot of memories to share. I don't have those memories. I have very few faint memories from the family vacations and visits and things of that nature from my maternal grandmother. Um, but by the time that I was born, shortly around that same time of making those family visits during my toddler years, my paternal grandparents were gone. I believe my grandfather was already gone, and my grandmother was the last to go. So that's a bit of the backdrop of that. However, the interesting thing that I found out over the years um, is that on both ends of the family, a lot of things that I do happen to be things that my grandparents were deeply invested and interested in. And one of those is entrepreneurship. My grandparents both came from um, huge families and birth huge families. Um, my mom is one out of 16 children. My dad is no short or shy of the same, to my understanding. My grandfather had two sets of children um, in his first marriage and then in his marriage to my grandmother. So I am no, I'm at no shortage of cousins, aunts, uncles, all of that. There's a whole lot of that going on in my family. But what I found interesting is um, my mother's, my mom's mom did all kinds of things that would be considered an entrepreneur type thing of her day and her time. Um, because of the farming and aspect of the South and stuff like that, there's a lot of things that country people do or Southern people do that you wouldn't think to do in New York. And it's because life and lifestyle is so much different in the city. Um, my grandmother would jar foods and sell them. She would cook dinners and sell them. She also owned several homes, and she would rent rooms to truck drivers and so forth. And um, those are the things that I can remember off the top of my head. I also remember her doing laundry for people. And the truth be told, she had, like I said, 16 children. So most of the work she really wasn't doing herself. My mom and her sisters were doing the work, and she would just collect the money. So my grandmother was pretty smart. She put her kids to work, um, and she knew what it was to bring in multiple streams of income. Um, that's a personal takeaway for me, was that she didn't just rely on her work and what she did as her main source of employment. She knew other things to do to continue to make money. And aside from doing a laundry service, renting rooms, cooking dinners, she did childcare. To my understanding, she also made and sold clothes, which is something both of my grandmothers actually did. And my father's father, I'm not going to say he was a carpenter, but he was definitely a builder, which that was another thing, commonality between both my grandparents. And truth be told, it could have been just a thing of the age. You know, those were the industries that was available, and those were the jobs that people worked. Now, as it relates to my story, I noticed that I'm not far from things that my grandparents did, even without their direct thumbprint per se in my life. One of the things that I did in my early stages was, I believe my first business was basically like a side hustle of gift baskets. This came about literally randomly. It was never my intention to start making, selling, and creating gift baskets. It just fell into my hands. And from what I can recall, it was a summer youth employment job that I was working at the time. And there was a lady that worked in our office that would buy perfumes and lotions and all kinds of expensive, high quality, high end stuff. I'm talking like Coach, Gucci, Brooks Brothers, um, Burberry. I mean, any kind of name brand, top of the line stuff. She knew where to get it and at wholesale and for cheap, and she would resell it. And she ran a little side business doing that. And me being who I am, I'm in the office working because we're working in the same office. I happened to stumble in on one of her exchanges and deals that she was working with somebody, and she asked me to close the door and stand in the room until she was finished. So when she finished, she introduced me to her side hustle, and I began to buy products off of her and create gift baskets. And I just did it for the first few people as gifts for like birthdays and stuff, and folks started asking to buy. I quickly jumped on the opportunity and I started fulfilling orders before I even had the products. So that was my start. Um, I was not raised by my parents, so at the time I had a foster mom, and I would have like two and three, $4,000 on me, tucked away in my belongings in the house and hidden in areas. And so because I was at this teenage phase, she figured that I was selling drugs, literally. Um, because I should not have had that much money on me at any time, and um, definitely was not expected to be banking that type of money at that age. So, on top of my summer youth employment, I was able to make money selling gift baskets. And occasionally, if there was a hot music artist that came out, I would buy CDs at wholesale and sell them at my church and stuff like that. Any kind of music, the latest music or anything that came out, I would buy the music and sell it. So I made an additional, give or take, 1,000 or 1,500 just from selling music, and sometimes burning CDs, which I didn't really like to do. I would more so sell original CDs, and that's not a cover up. That's the truth. I was really into the wholesale thing, so I knew where to go to buy CDs at $3 and $4, sometimes $5, depending the artist, and resell them on the street for $15 or $20. And hey, that's the retail price. So I was able to pull it off. It wasn't like I was robbing no one. Everyone knew that this is what it cost in the store. So I was doing pretty good. And on some occasions, I sold the CDs for like $10 just to make a quick sale. And aside from that, that was the beginning. Later, I did, when I started my cleaning business, I owned and operated a cleaning business in New York for several years, and that came by chance. Um, Starting a cleaning business wasn't really something I had intended to do. It was another situation that kind of just befell me, and I took it by the horns until it, you know, to this day, I still own my cleaning business. I could revamp it or reopen it on at any time that I choose to. Um, what I got out of running my cleaning business, I can't begin to describe to you the value that was created in my life from that opportunity. When when I ran my cleaning business, I was so headstrong about getting this thing done that I called a best friend of mine who was practically like my confidant. I would tell everything to, and I said, "Let me run this idea by you and see what you think and what you know comes across you, and should I really pursue this?" And so I was describing to him the need for employment. I needed to find a job. I was being hassled at the time to find a job and couldn't. And so I just said, you know what? I'm going to turn something that I already do into employment for myself. There was a lot of old ladies at St. Stephen's United Methodist Church, is where I was from in the Bronx. And there was a lot of old ladies that would call me and say, "Hey, can you go to the store for me? Can you pick up my dry cleaning? Can you drop off my dry cleaning? Can you um, put this furniture together? I just got a new bookshelf and I need you to put it together. Or I'm old and I can't reach this light bulb and I can't dust and I can't do this and I can't do that. So can you do it for me?" And so that's basically how that all started. And I went from cleaning homes, doing little small odd and end jobs, to working for a multi millionaire preacher in New York. Everyone pretty much knows who this man is, um, Bishop Bernard Jordan. Yes, the guy that prophesies and all of that. So, what was my experience? While many people may not personally care for him or like him, I had one of the best and most positive experiences over there at that church until we were no longer contracted with them. What I gathered, both as a business person and a spiritual individual, was the best of both worlds for me. I was able to learn the inside job of running a mega ministry. Now, the difference between Bishop Bernard Jordan and T.D. Jakes is Jakes is preaching to thousands upon thousands of people at his church every week, several nights a week. The difference between T.D. Jakes and Bishop Ebenard Jordan is the fact that Bishop Jordan is reaching hundreds of thousands of people through the internet, through conference calls, through prophecy, people signing up, subscribing, watching his live cast, watching his show on television, and literally by the thousands. I used to work in the church cleaning, and at some point we had to kind of step in or intervene by helping his staff to prep materials to be mailed out. And I got an inside look basically at what that looks like, you know, fulfilling orders, sending out books, mailing out materials. And it prepared me for the business and things that I'm doing this present day. Um, I always knew that I would be an author of multiple books. And for those of you that may not know me or haven't caught up with me, I do own a publishing company. That was my next transition after the closing chapter of running a cleaning business. So it's like I've evolved as an entrepreneur and gone through many different stages of changes and improvements overall. So I would dare to end to say that um, my involvement at that ministry, I met many rich and famous people at that ministry. One of them was Reverend Run and his family, his daughters, his sons, um, several other rich and famous people that look like me, Black people, um, which was another joy. I'm not a starstruck person. So at a lot of those opportunities where there was famous people around, I didn't respond the way your average person would, like only here in front of such and such and so and so. So I think that added to the character of our business. No one had to worry about what we saw or who was coming through the church or through the office that day. And those were all good things for me. There's times that people were so impressed with our work, they tipped us $20 here, $100 here, or whatever. And I know that they weren't supposed to, but they let us know you're whatever you're being paid, you're underpaid, and they paid us pretty decent. Um, but it was the atmosphere. Anybody that knows anything about a true Christian ministry and um, the heart of a Christian ministry and the protocol and so forth, you understand exactly what I mean. That that church was like a family unit. Um, in what they do there, so that was a good experience. Um, how it has molded me as an entrepreneur was I knew that I would write multiple books. I knew that I would be in both the secular and the religious community. So what it did for me is that it gave me a platform to model myself after, what became a mentor, a client so far ahead of me in his life and all that he does unintentionally became a mentor to me, paving out an example and share a lot of commonalities. One, we're preachers. Two, we're entrepreneurs. Three, we're authors. Four, we share the same zodiac sign. Five, mothers both share the same first name of Mary. So like there was so many threads of similarities between the two of us, and he acknowledged it as well. So moving on, what I was able to see is the inside job of running a major operation of a ministry, and two, not just any type of mega ministry, but a ministry befitting of the changing times that we live in. A lot of his content was going digital, going online, and he was the first of anyone. And even to this day, there's no one doing ministry at the rate and on the level of what he does, period. And so that example alone was amazing to me. It showed me what I needed to do as a preacher and as an entrepreneur, um, how he makes himself available to his followers. I mean, excuse me, the list goes on and on and on. Um, when I say entrepreneurship is in my DNA, I explained that in the beginning. When I see threads of things that my grandparents did to survive, to raise families, to be better, uh, and I see those traits coming through in my life, me starting a cleaning business, what are the odds of me doing something like that? Didn't jar and sell foods and stuff. I was close enough with a gift basket business, even though I didn't sew my own clothes and I haven't created a major clothing line just yet. I did try my hand in my YouTube days where I used to blog a lot. I did try my hand at launching a t-shirt line. So throughout several different things, I can see threads of my grandparents' legacy and example living out through me. And that's what I mean when I say entrepreneurship is in my DNA. Um, I want to thank you if you made it through this video. I really want to thank you if you made it through this video. Um, I want to encourage you guys, if you want to learn more about how to be an entrepreneur, how to get your start as a business owner, how to find yourself, like what type of business do you want to start? What type of corporation do you need to do legally and all of encouraging you to get a copy of my book, The Newborn Entrepreneur. Get you a copy. This book did exceptionally well this year, and I pray that it continues to do so. I'm telling you, the book will answer questions and set you on the road that you need to be on. So thank you guys for watching. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Twitter. Connect with me. There's the Newborn Entrepreneur fan page. Please like the page. There's more content and new things to come in the coming days. So thank you for listening. This is my first story time ever. Drop me some comments and let me know, how did I do? Was I boring? What could I have done differently? Whatever your comments are, I want to hear them. Drop them down below. Share them with me. Don't forget to tweet and share this video, especially if it's inspired you. All right, you guys. Peace.